G'day folks, welcome to this week's short little vlog update on what we got up to around the patch here. It is a little bit shorter than normal, mainly because I had a couple of days off after coming back from the coast with Bianca and Kira. So we've got a little bit of a wander around the front patch, just looking at some of the things that are going on out there, how the bananas are going, the kajari melons and a few other bits and pieces. And yeah, I've shot a little bit of a look at the pineapples after they were harvested. There will be a clip coming soon. And a little something we found while we were visiting up the coast that I intend to having a crack at growing. Before I do let you enjoy the clip, I would just like to thank all the marvellous folks out there who are supporting us through Patreon. We really do appreciate the support. If you want, you can check out the super contributors links down in the description below. There's a couple of stores, an IT professional, some homesteading blogs and vlogs, and also a new Australian aquaponics startup. So check them out if you're interested. Anyway, I'll let you have a look at the clip and what we got up to, and while that's happening, I'm going to finish filling up some beds. G'day folks, just out the front yard here filling up the wicking beds. I thought I'd bring you along for a bit of a gander and also catch you up on what we've been up to. We've just got back from our, well actually we got back yesterday afternoon from our little trip up to Caloundra on the Sunshine Coast here in southeast Queensland. It was a pretty nice stay away. The Friday we got there and the Saturday it rained the whole time. So we caught up on a little bit of reading and B read through some screenplays and bits and pieces, so had a pretty good time. And on the Sunday we went to the markets and spent a couple of hours getting far too much sun out on the rocks at Caloundra. So we just spent time hopping the rocks and looking for crabs and little fish stuck in the pools and that sort of thing. Also spotted a couple of warrigal greens or New Zealand spinach in their natural habitat, trying to occupy the edge of the environment, just growing out of some rock walls there. Anyway, we're back to it now, and I thought I'd just bring you along and show you a couple of bits and pieces that have been going on out the front here while we've been away. So the rosellas have just gone gangbusters. I took a couple of photos of the flowers on here on the Friday just before we left, and it looks like we have a decent amount of fruit that we need to harvest now. A lot of these guys will just be pitted, or we'll push the seed pods out basically using a pen and just pop them in the freezer, and later on when we've got enough we'll use them in a jam or something along those lines. Over here the kajari melons, they're all but finished. We'll be popping some more in soon though to take advantage of our warm autumn. I did find a small melon down here earlier. It was just riddled with holes and there was a little caterpillar in there, so he pretty much all got the squish and the fruit went into the compost pile. Just down in here we have the Hawaiian sunshine, or the purple sweet potatoes. These guys here will stay in this bed, and I'll be pulling this cage and wire down and removing the kajari vines, and I might plant out a couple of seedlings of corn. I'll pick them up from the garden centre or hardware, and after I compost the top of the soil and maybe add some slow release fertiliser in there, and that should give us another crop. Actually, I'll take over and show you this freaky corn. So just to give you a look at this male flower that's come off a sucker, just from the base of this plant here, it's decided to throw some kernels as well. So we don't like to do things normally here in our patch. So that's just basically coming up from the bottom of this plant here. This plant here has actually got a couple of nice cobs on it already. This one there was set first, and then about a week and a half to 2 weeks later we got this little fellow in here set. So this one hopefully will be ready to come off by this weekend. I'll have a bit of a look at it. There's that one there and about 3 or 4 others that I'd say will be ready to come off, like that fella there. So it looks like we're going to get a bit of a progressive harvest out of this batch, even though there's a couple of freaks like this fella here in the mix, and there's a few others that have done the same thing. Pretty much all just off the suckers that have come up from the base though. Only one kernel's been pollinated there, but you can see where a few others could have been. And on this one over here, just a couple of small ones down the bottom. So not all of them have thrown a good sized cob. This one here may give us 3. It's got this nice big one at the top here, a slightly smaller one there, and down the bottom here we've got a couple of silks coming through from this section here. But I think all the pollen's pretty much all done from the male flowers at the top, so we won't see much of a cob form there. Thought I'd also give you a bit of an update on the bananas. This little bunch here that's growing out of the plant from the side of the clump, it doesn't look like it's going to give us much fruit at all. We're probably only going to get about 3 hands off it, maybe 4. This bottom hand down here will probably be cut off just to send the energy into these guys here. I'm not too worried about it though. This stalk didn't grow as large as the other ones. Just to give you a bit of a look under there, there's some of the male flowers coming through, and we've got a load of them just on the ground down here from where the flying foxes or fruit bats have been in for a bit of a feed, and the birds too, and they just knock them off. The other one is doing a lot better. So this bunch here is already pretty much all stopped fruiting. All the female flowers are out. It's got a number of hands on it and is doing a lot better than the other one. And you might be able to make out just around the corner here, we have some male flowers. So this bottom hand here will probably be discarded, and I might chop off this bell as well. I have had a number of folks tell me or suggest that I can use the bell in cooking. We've already done that, and we're not too fond of it, to tell you the truth, whether we didn't prepare it the right way or whatever. So I think I'll just be composting the bells from these guys. I had some people let me know a while back that you can actually use the inside of the stem of the banana as well in cooking, and it's apparently fairly much well similar in flavour to the bell, but for the time being I think I'll just prefer to cut it all up and compost it around the base of the plant here. So I'm still planning on doing a little bit of a clip on these bananas. I've just got a few other bits and pieces I've got to knock off first, so hopefully I'll get to film it before we harvest these bunches up here. Just to finish off, I thought I'd show you some of the volunteer pigeon pea we have popping up through the volunteer purple sweet potatoes on the compost pile here. So there's 3 or 4 of them that are coming through, which is probably a good thing because these mother plants have been around for a number of years now. So I'm going to chop them back and mulch them and just throw them on top, I think, and let the next generation come through, especially since this whole pile will be moved when they start to renovate, because there will be a big gutter about 1 metre deep that runs around the outside of the house here. And just to give you a bit of a look here, we've also got some of the crocus lilies coming through. They generally come through after the rain. These guys aren't the saffron ones though. Oh, there's a big white spider on that one. Where'd you go, matey? Oh, I've scared him off. And just down in here in the compost pile where we've been digging through the scraps, we're starting to see some melons germinate. So what I'll do is I'll pretty much all let the strongest survive, and these guys can take over from the Kajari melons I'll be pulling from the caged area out the front tomorrow. Normally we've found plants that grow from compost piles and are self-germinated or volunteers have more vigour than ones we've sown ourselves, so fingers crossed we'll get a decent yield out of this one. G'day folks. As you know, we harvested the pineapples the other day, and we had this little weird growth that you may recall from an earlier clip showing these guys. Still not quite sure what that is, but it looks like a little pineapple fruit. Just next to it on the other side we have another one of these growths, except this one has 2 heads growing out of it. So I'm starting to wonder if this is going to be one of those freakish double-headed pineapples, and if it does form into a pineapple, it'll be the first time we've had 2 grow from one plant. It's something I need to read up on because I haven't done a lot of reading on pineapples other than the basic how it grows. So I might see if someone's had a bit more experience, might be able to help me out with that one. But yeah, we do have this one sucker coming out here, another sucker coming out here, and I will be filming a clip a little way down the line just showing you how to start off the plants using the tops from the ones I've already taken off. And while we're talking tropical fruits, while we were away we came across this coconut. So I'm going to have a crack at growing a coconut, and this one here came from one of the smaller trees up on Golden Beach. I have seen some coconuts grown from store-bought seeds, but you don't know the origin and how tall the trees are, so I thought I'd have a crack with this one because those trees were only about, I'd say, 5 meters tall, and they had a load of coconuts on them. Not as big as the other ones you see, but I thought, you know, for our climate here we might be worth a crack. I might actually try a couple of different methods with this and maybe a store-bought one as well, just to see how we go. So I know you have to soak them in water first before you plant them out, and I'm not too sure whether I need to let this dry out before we pop it in the water or whatever. So there you go. Thought I'd just give you a bit of a quick look at that. Here's a quick look at the little blueberries. These are the blueberry burst, as you can see. Put on some nice growth in these root pouches, and here's my Malabar chestnut, which looks to be a favourite with the grasshoppers at the moment. So there's not a lot I can do about that. And yeah, just going around filling up all these trays. We're expecting 37 today and 39 for the next few days. That's up around the 100 Fahrenheit. So I'm making sure everything's hydrated. That little mess of a potted garden in there is using a lot of water every day. It's got gingers, society garlic, a couple of different herbs, the Owen Knock, which I do need to get to. I will be getting it for you soon, sorry mate, and a few other bits and pieces. So anyway, I'm going to knock off that and then we're off to see a mate who's recuperating. Just to let you folks know, I am still working on the clip that covers how to make a 12 volt backup air system for your aquaponics. I've just been a little bit busy once I got back into the swing of things this week. It's all but finished. I just need to polish up a few of the edges and hopefully it'll be uploaded midnight our time tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. If you want to check out that or any of our other future clips, you can hit that little subscribe button down there and check the bell icon and you'll be sent a notification whenever I do upload. Once again, I would like to thank you all for coming along and checking out these vlogs. I hope you are enjoying them. I'm off to change the hose and I might move it over to the blueberry barrel now. I do hope you have a fantastic weekend and I will catch you next clip. Cheers all, have a top one.